Hi everybody, I'm Daniel Tay, and today I shall share with you how to draw a visual map on the 4 groups of living things. Alright, now visual map usually start with a central image. Alright, the central image, so this will be my central image, and I'm going to write the 4 groups of living things inside the central image. Living things. Right, so we know that this is a topic we are talking about. Now, what is the first group that is very obvious? We need to learn. It's the group of animals. Alright, animals. Let's take a look here, animals. So I'm going to draw a branch here. Animals. Alright, animals can be subdivided into 6 different groups. Alright, 6 different groups. So I shall draw 6 sub-branches. Alright, what are the 6 different groups within animals? They are, now there is one way you can remember using this acronym called FABRIM. FABRIM. Alright, each letter stands for something. So if I put FABRIM here, FABRIM, I can easily recall what are the 6 subgroups of animals. Now fish would be the first one, followed by amphibians. The next will be birds, and then R will stand for reptiles. R will stand for reptiles. I will stand for insects, and then last but not least, M stands for mammals. Now, these are the 6 subgroups of animals that we need to know. Now, fish, I can draw some diagrams on fish, right? Amphibians. Okay, how to draw a frog? Maybe I draw a frog. We can tell it's a frog. When it's a bird, you can draw a bird with a beak, some wings, feet. We can draw reptiles. Reptiles can include snakes, the head. Psst. Okay, there's a sound. Insects have 3 body parts and have 6 legs. Alright, these are common characteristics of insects. Okay. And mammals, human beings are mammals, so we shall draw a human being here. Now, these are the 6 subgroups of animals. Now, I will make a symbol here called E. E, which stands for lay eggs. Lay eggs. Now, not all animals lay eggs. Alright? So now, I'm going to put a symbol here on what are the groups of animals that lay eggs. Alright? If I put this symbol here, that means usually the animal lay eggs. Alright? Amphibian, fish, birds, these all lay eggs. Reptiles also lay eggs. Insects. Now, mammals, they don't lay eggs. Mammals don't lay eggs, with the exception of platypus. Alright, most mammals don't lay eggs. So, the first 5 animals here, they lay eggs to reproduce. But how does mammals reproduce? Alright, how does mammal reproduce? Reproduce using give birth. Alright, so give birth to what? To live young. Right, the process is usually longer. Give birth to live young. Alright, and these are only for mammals. Alright, human beings, it can include elephants, giraffes, dogs, cats, all these fall under mammals. Now, let's move on to the other big group of living things, which are plants. Alright, I will change the color because green color represents plants better. So plants. Now, at a primary school level, we are going to only learn 2 subgroups of plants. Alright, one is called the flowering plant. Flowering, you can see flowers on the plant. These are flowering plants. And the other group will be non-flowering plants. Non-flowering plants. Alright, flowering plants, there are so many flowering plants. Hibiscus, roses, tulips. Alright, and most flowering plants, many of them, the flowers will develop into fruits, and then from the fruits you get seeds, and from the seeds you can start planting the seeds and it can reproduce into a new plant. But for non-flowering plants, their major groups are ferns or moss. Now, ferns reproduce by a special type of method called spores. S-P-O-R-E. Alright? Spores is a very small particle that is used for reproduction by ferns. Alright? So this is what you need to know about plants. And just a short recap, plants is made up of roots, and then there's a stem, then there's the leaves, and then sometimes there are flowers. Alright? So if I'm going to label a parts of a plant, it's very simple. You just remember there are roots. Roots are here. Roots, a leaf, L-E-A-F, leaf, and then this is a flower, and then the one that supports it to keep it upright to get sunlight will be the stem. Alright, so these are the major parts of a plant that it is good to know. We should know. Alright, now let's move on to the next major group of living things, which will be the fungi. Okay, maybe I will change to pink color. Fungi. No, it's not very visible, so probably I change to black. Fungi. Fungi is a plural. The singular is called fungus. Alright, this is a group of living things. This is singular. Alright, now fungi, they are unable to make food on its own. They are usually parasitic. Alright, they grow on some other living things and then they get their nutrients from there. So unable to make its own food. Now, coming to think, we should remember here that in plants are special because they are able to make its own food. Okay, so let's now look at, let me just add here, plants are unique, is able to make own food. Alright, this is what is so unique about plants. The only group of living things that is able to make its own food. Now, and from what? It has to use sunlight. From sunlight. Okay, so that is the unique things about plants. Okay, now let's get back to fungi. Unable to make its own food, and there are two groups that we need to know. One group is mold, LD. Alright, the one you see in the bread. If you put a piece of bread, you add some water, and then you leave it for a few days, you'll find that there are black patches growing on it. Okay, those are bad mold. And there's also another type of mushroom, type of fungi which is called mushroom. Alright, and they are edible and non-edible or inedible. Now, mushrooms, most of them, they look something like this. Okay, there's a cap on top, and then underneath the mushroom here you can see spores. They reproduce by spores. Okay, mushroom reproduce by spores, similar to non-flowering ferns. Alright, both of them reproduce by spores. Now let's move on to the last group of living things that we are going to learn today, which are bacteria. Okay, so I create a new branch. I'm going to write inside the branch bacteria. Alright, now bacteria are all very small. Okay, very small. They are not just small, they are very small. Very small in such that we are unable to see unless we use a microscope. Okay, so we can see only using, what is this thing called a microscope. Okay, microscope. Alright, now there are several types of bacteria. Okay, now we just need to learn two types of bacteria. Alright, we shouldn't go too much details, but two types of bacteria we must know. They are good bacteria and there's bad bacteria. Many people think that there's only bad bacteria. Bacteria is only mean bad, but it's not true. We have good bacteria that is critical for survival. So good bacteria, and there's also bad bacteria. Now, bacteria reproduce by binary fission, which is cell splitting, binary fission. Okay, that is how it reproduce, which is cell splitting. One bacteria becomes two bacteria becomes four bacteria. That is how bacteria reproduce. Alright, so this is for reproduction. Alright, so this is a general overview of how does it look like when we want to draw the living groups of living things for primary school science.